Good morning, Black America. This is the BuyGE plan once again with another installment, additional information about the plan. To get to the point, you have a hole in your roof. To give you a little bit further information about that, I have to give you an analogy. It's kind of what I do. I give analogies. Uh, Imagine you have a house, a big, beautiful house, 5, 6 bedroom. It's a married couple that lives there. It's a thriving family. A husband, a wife, a couple of kids. Probably the husband's brother lives there, and the husband's mother. It's the best, it's the nicest house on the street. It's the most beautiful. It's the most stable family in the neighborhood. But the guy next door to you, old white guy, we're gonna call him Mr. Brundle. Mr. Brundle has a dead tree in his house, in his yard. So one day he chops that tree down. It doesn't fall in his yard, doesn't fall in his backyard. It falls directly on top of your house, your beautiful house, the nicest house in the neighborhood. Puts a hole in the roof in the process. Now, Mr. Brundle, being the butthole that he is, he leaves it. He leaves the tree in place, the hole in your roof. He wants no parts of anything going on your property. So you go over and you browbeat him and you browbeat him. And over the course of a couple of weeks, he does decide to take the tree down. He removes the tree from your house, but you still have a hole in your roof. You ask Mr. Brundle, what are we going to do about the hole in my roof? Mr. Brundle, being the butthead that he is, tells you it's your roof. What you telling me about it for? Matter of fact, it's probably your fault. You had a weak roof. You had an inferior roof. That's why a hole got there. If that tree fell on my house, I wouldn't have a hole in my roof. So that hole is your problem. You work it out. I'm not paying for nothing. And Mr. Brundle just refuses to give you money to pay for the hole in your roof. The hole in your roof is the primary problem. But it only gets worse from there. You have symptoms from having a hole in your roof that's going to follow. You've got to estimate the hole in the roof probably will be repaired for about $10,000. You don't have it. You got a crappy job. Your wife doesn't have it. Your mother doesn't have it. There's no way you can get this roof fixed yourself. You need Mr. Brundle's help to do it. It's a $10,000 job. But because you have that hole in the roof, what happens is a family of raccoons moves into your attic. And while they're there, they make the noise that they make, because you know raccoons are active at night. So they keep you up pretty much every night, all night, from just wrestling around. Those raccoons are going to be spreading urine and feces, creating a biological hazard in your home, only because you have that roof in that hole in your roof, and you couldn't keep them out. You think Mr. Brundle cares about these problems that are popping up because you have a hole in your roof? No, he doesn't care. He doesn't have a hole in his roof. He doesn't have our problems. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is that beautiful home that you live in with your family and everyone, that's the black community. And the black community has a big hole in its roof. And in a roundabout way, what we could say is we are looking for white America to fix that hole in the roof. We're begging, we're demanding that white America fixes that hole in the roof. But white America is just like Mr. Brundle. We ain't doing it. That's your problem. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps so that hole in the roof remains. That family of raccoons, that's just the first symptom. The next symptom is rainy season starts. Oh, it's thundering and pouring rain. Now all that water is getting inside of your house. What it does is it causes the ceiling in your house to get wet. And it collapses. When the ceiling collapses, it takes out all of the insulation in your house. So you don't have any ceilings on the second floor. You don't have any insulation. So you can't control the temperature in your own house. It's cold in the wintertime. It's hot in the summertime. And your furnace has to work 10 times as hard as it normally would to maintain some kind of decent temperature. That's another symptom. Here's another one coming for you. Because of all the water in your house, the walls in your house are getting wet. The walls and the floors are getting wet. And they're staying wet. And that's sparking mold growth. Now you have black mold in your house. All because you got a hole in your roof. You got a family of raccoons. The ceilings in your house then collapsed. You don't have any insulation to control the temperature in your home, and you got black mold. Wow. All from having a hole in your roof. It gets worse. The kid used to be somewhat of a track star on a high school track team. He's pretty good. Matter of fact, he was so good, he had a possibility of going to the Olympics one day. Well, he can't perform on the track field anymore because the black mold in your house has given him respiratory issues. So he pretty much has to drop out of track. So he has no chance of ever going to the Olympics. Why? Because you've got black mold in your house. Why do you have black mold in your house? Because you got a hole in the roof. Your mother starts developing health issues from living in that house. And her doctor tells you she can't live there anymore. So you're going to have to put your mother in a nursing home. Average cost of a nursing home is about $2,000 a month. Ain't nobody's insurance covering it. Your mother don't have the money saved up. So guess who's going to have to pay that $2,000 a month to move your mother into a nursing home? You are. That's just another added expense from one of the symptoms from having a hole in your roof. But you're arrogant. You refuse to fix that hole in the roof because you didn't put it there. It ain't my fault it's a hole in the roof. The white guy next door, he should do it. He should replace it. He should fix that hole. He's the one that put it there. Yeah. He's not trying to fix it. He don't care whether you got a hole in your roof or not, because he doesn't have to deal with any of the problems that come along with having a hole in your roof. He don't care. He ain't interested. He's not going to spend $10,000 of his money, not if he don't have to. Now, the smart thing for us to do, Black America, the smart thing to do is to go ahead and fix that hole in the roof ourselves. That way we can put an end to all those additional symptoms which are costly that we're going to have to pay for. We'll put an end to having to deal with them, and we'll be able to get our beautiful life back. But we ain't got the money. The father doesn't have the money, not by himself. He has a crappy job. The wife doesn't have the money. She has a crappy job. The father's brother don't have the money. He's a bum. What he does is he cuts grass in the neighborhood for a couple of dollars so he can get cigarettes and beer. He don't have that kind of money. So how are you going to get the hole in the roof fixed? The husband puts up what little bit that he has. Then he goes to his wife and finds out what she has. And he puts his money with her money. You go to his mother and you find out how much she has. She has a few dollars put up. She can contribute a little bit towards getting the hole in the roof fixed. The son, well, he worked when he was feeling better. He had a job. He put up a couple of dollars. He contributed. And the brother, the grass cutting brother, he didn't have much to contribute, maybe 50, 60 bucks. But he got on a mission to work extra hard to come up with money to help fix the hole in the roof. Now, if everybody involved contributes, they have $10,000 and they can get the hole in the roof fixed. Now, you don't let the neighbor off the hook. It's still his fault. It's still his expense. So you continue to go after him to get the money to repair the hole in the roof. But in the meantime, you got to get it fixed. And the only way it's going to happen is if you do it yourself. So you get the contribution from everybody in the house. And you get that hole in your roof fixed. It kills the black mold problem. It gets rid of the raccoons. You're going to have to spend a couple of dollars to get the ceiling and the insulation put back in your house. But you don't have any more ongoing problems. Your mom can stay. She doesn't have to go to the nursing home. So you don't have to spend that extra $2,000 a month. Your son gets better. So he can get back on the track team, and his dream of going to the Olympics one day is alive again, alive and well again. Everything gets back to normal, but you got to spend that $10,000 to get that hole in the roof fixed to make it happen. The black community is that house. The black community has a hole in the roof, and what that hole is jobs. It's jobs. And that tree that white America dropped on the black community to put that hole in the roof was getting rid of the jobs back in the 60s, right after civil rights. Manufacturing jobs started going away, which was the primary source of income for the average black man in these urban communities. White America took the jobs away. So you're wondering what the net effect of that was? When white America took the jobs away, the black man was taken out of his role as provider for the family. Now here come the symptoms. The symptoms of that is welfare and Section 8 comes along. Because somebody has to provide for the family. The government decided since the black man wasn't able to provide for his family anymore, they'd step in and they'd do it as well. But they had a stipulation. If they're going to be the provider of the family, you can't have no black man in the house. So for you to get Section 8 and welfare, you can't have a man. This destroyed the black family. Now you have all these single women struggling with the little bit of money that they make trying to raise kids. And these kids are out of control. Because who's the disciplinarian in the house? The father. Look at any old movie and the mother will always tell the kid when the kid was acting up, wait till your father gets home. Wait till your father gets home and he's going to deal with you. Well, the women don't have that anymore. They have to do what the man does. But what's a 120-pound woman going to do with a 6'2", 16-year-old kid? Not much. This is why the kids are out of control. This is why we have what's going on in the black community. This is why we had the rise of crime. Us not having jobs is the reason why we have the wealth gap, the wage gap, all of the problems that we have in the black community. The root of the problem is jobs. We don't have any. And if you do happen to get a job, It's not a decent job. You might be one of the fortunate few that went to college and you do get a decent job, but that decent job that you get, that you think you got, because you've arrived, you a black man that arrived. I got me a job. I'm an engineer. You haven't arrived. Because the job that you got at the white firm that you work at is lacking compared to the exact same job that the white man gives himself for the exact same experience. You don't make as much. You just don't. Which is another reason why we had a wealth gap. Jobs. Now, my BuyGE plan, it attacks the root problem. See, most of our black leaders, they want to attack the symptoms of the problem. You know, they want to spend 20 grand and get rid of the mold in the house. But you spend 20 grand and get rid of the mold, you still got the hole in the roof. So the mold is just going to keep coming back. They want to get a new furnace, a bigger furnace, one that doesn't have to work as hard. But that new furnace still has to work harder than it has to because you still got a hole in the roof and no insulation. The only way we can address this issue is we got to attack the root problem, the hole in the roof. That's the first thing, that's the primary thing that we have to do. We have to attack the root problem. And the root problem in the black community is lack of jobs. Lack of decent living wage paying jobs. The kind of job that you can get where you can support to take care of a family, where you can afford to take care of a family. Those are the jobs we need. Those are the jobs that were taken away from us, and the white man is not trying to give them back to us. He's not trying to help us in any way. We have to fix this hole in the roof ourselves. I say again, once we fix that hole in the roof ourselves, we can still go after the white man for the money that we spend fixing that hole. But the primary issue is we have to resolve the problem, and we're going to have to do it ourselves. We're going to have to fix that hole in the roof, Black America. And this is where the BuyGE plan comes in. I propose that Black America buy General Electric. Now, whenever I've had this conversation with black folks, they always say, oh, that's kind of ambitious, buying General Electric. No, it's not. Buying General Electric really is not ambitious. If we wanted to buy Exxon Mobil, that would be ambitious. Buying GE right now, today, is the easiest company for us to pick up and the cheapest. It's not really that ambitious, and it's not going to take that much work for us to do it. We just got to put the work in to make it happen. How it works is every black man and woman in America, adult, it's 43 million of us, will have to buy 100 shares of General Electric stock. That's not 100 shares that you're going to be donating to the BuyGE plan. You're not going to be giving me any of that. You're going to be keeping that for yourself. That's going to be a personal investment that you make with your money, and only you are going to reap the benefits. And we pool our resources together. Just like that, the family in the house pooled their resources to get that hole in the roof fixed. Black America is going to pool their resources to take control of General Electric. Once we've taken control of the company, we're going to start moving jobs back from China back to America. We're going to put those factories and plants, we're going to put them in urban communities. We're going to put a plant in Detroit. We're going to put a plant in Baltimore. Maybe put one in Philly. And once we have those plants back in our communities, we're only going to hire black people. We're only going to create jobs for ourselves. This is how we fix the hole in the roof. This is how we undo the damage that's already been done. We got to get that roof fixed. We need jobs. We're going to create jobs. And buying General Electric is going to create tens of thousands of jobs just for us black people. Now, I can hear you Negro naysayers chiming up now. I've heard you before. Here you come. Buying GE, tens of thousands of jobs ain't going to solve the problems in the black community. We got bigger problems than that. Buying GE is the beginning. Buying GE is how we do it. After we buy GE, we're going to continue buying white companies and doing the same thing. And we're going to continue creating jobs for ourselves. I mean, if we can create tens of thousands of jobs by buying GE, if we continue buying companies, who's to say we can't create 1 million jobs for ourselves? But the ultimate goal of the plan is for us to create 43 million jobs for us. Ultimately, it ain't going to happen overnight. It's going to take time. But this is how you get there. This is how you get there. You start with GE, and then we find the next company that we're going to buy, and then we buy it, and we create more jobs for ourselves. Then we find the next company that we're going to buy, and we buy it, and we create more jobs for ourselves. And we do not stop until we have created 43 million jobs. Now, I'm going to tell you something. If we buy GE and you get a job at GE, you don't have to worry about the wage gap anymore. Because GE, a black company, a black controlled company, is going to pay you what your job is worth. You're going to receive the same money that a white man would be doing working at some job up the street that you've never been able to get paid. Once we have sufficient wages, we can start attacking the wealth gap situation. This is probably the longest video I've done. And this is the plan. This is the goal. The ultimate goal for the BuyGE plan is to create 43 million jobs. That's ambitious. The BuyGE plan is the step-by-step method for us to reach that goal. Everything is laid out. And the only thing you have to do, and you do have a part. If you're watching this video, you have a very important part. You got to buy 100 shares minimum of GE stock. It's going to be roughly in the ballpark of $1,000. Many of you got $1,000 and you can just go ahead and buy it today. Many of you don't. But here's the key. You don't have to buy it all at one shot. If you only got $100, you buy 10 shares. Next time you get your money together, you buy 10 more shares. You buy 10 more. And you keep buying until you have reached that $100 minimum balance that we all have to have. I'm recommending that if you don't have $1,000, you use 10% of your income. Every payday, you put 10% of your money up and you buy GE stock with it. And you continue doing that until you have your 100 shares. Once all of us have our 100 shares, we'll own 51% of the company. That means we'll be able to go in there during the next board meeting and take over. We'll be able to fire everyone sitting at that table and take over, and we'll do whatever we want with that company. We don't have to answer to anybody. We don't have to ask anybody's permission for what we're doing. We'll be 100% in control. There are numerous other benefits to the BuyGE plan. They'll be coming out in further videos. But I think I've given you guys an earful. So I'm going to call it a night. I appreciate you giving me this time. Let's buy GE, Black America. Signing off.